Hello and welcome back, everybody. We are now jumping over to the other qualifier. We have kind of concluded everything with West Europe, at least now for the groups, now heading on towards East Europe, as we've got still plenty more teams to see if they'll be making it out of that groups and heading towards playoffs. We had a little bit of action yesterday that we caught right at the tail end of the day, especially, we got to see Israel look very, very good in theirs. Yep. But we're now heading in to kickstart things here on Group C, a group that we haven't touched just yet. And we've got Belarus taking on North Macedonia. Now, so far, Belarus look very, very good. They found themselves 2-0. Nice, comfortable start for them. And they even were able to get a nice little 13-1 win over Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is pretty good for them.
Not too bad. I don't really know what to expect about this particular matchup. I think it's there's at least a couple of names that we recognize, but in general, I think it's going to be some real question marks around exactly how this is going to be played out. So I guess broadly speaking, we're just ready to be persuaded of almost anything. I think it's going to be an interesting game, even if it's a little bit more unpredictable.
I've actually just realized I actually completely read that wrong. North Macedonia got a 13-1 win over Bosnia and Herzegovina. Belarus are actually yet to play a game. They're 2-0 with two different forfeit wins. They got a forfeit win against Bosnia and Herzegovina, and then they got a forfeit win against Croatia. So they're yet to play a single round of Counter-Strike, and they're 2-0 up. They're beating them with just the fear and the aura around them right now. As this is your Belarus side. A couple of these names as well for those who maybe follow the kind of tier 2 side. You should know at least maybe some of them. I think Lollipop 21K is probably the most notable one. He's been around for absolutely years, this guy, and a very, very talented AWPer who has really actually kind of put maybe, I think, Belarus on the map a little bit. Mazvar's another one who plays alongside him. They both play on Batera as a team. Very solid. Then they got MDS, ZNX, and Senka to round it out. MDS and ZNX as well have both been around for quite a while. Senka's probably the only one that I haven't heard of on this Belarus side.
Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty nicely. Definitely, Lollipop is the guy that people can immediately recognize. Iconic name in some sense. So always been around for a real long time. So we expect him to be the rock of the team, I suppose, and kind of the one with the experience at a high level of Counter-Strike. Maybe I'll bleed down to the rest of them.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly. I mean, this is a Belarus side who I think, even though we haven't seen them play, I think we can probably expect at least a decent game out of them, just in terms of name value alone. Over in this side, though, North Macedonia, and this for me is actually a super strong side. I really do like the names on paper. We've got Aid Kit, Stress On, Too High, Danny, and Zhikoz. This is a really cool team. Too High, young IGL, one of the cool IGLs coming through. He's actually just joined Ents Academy very, very recently. And Aid Kit, Stress On, Danny, and Aid Kit, Danny, Stress On, and Zhikoz all played together a while back. They were on teams like Alia for a while, which is kind of I think the team that really kind of made these guys kind of famous. They ended up beating Eternal Fire in a best of 3, and then Eternal Fire fans were calling them cheaters for a while. It was wrong. They were just good. And then they made a name for themselves on the Blue Jays, which is really where they started to come forward. And a couple of them have kind of gone elsewhere. I know, for example, A-Kits went international, playing with teams like Gen 1, iNation before iNation shut down, and now finds herself on a team called Ghouls. So, yeah, these are all pretty big names. I've casted most of these guys a bunch of times. Too High. He's actually a bit of a regular at UK lands as well. He's come to a few of the Insomnias recently, which is cool. He just comes with a mix of mates from North Macedonia, and they kind of come over, play, and they normally do pretty well. They're normally like top 4 at the very least. So very talented player.
Fantastic. All right. It's funny how the UK scene is sort of like, it's got like the Insomnia land is like the big gathering point. I kind of admire that. I kind of want to go to one time just to hang out and see what it's like. We are in a best of 1, so we'll need the veto to get us through and make sure that we can find out what battleground we're going to be on ultimately. It's been a little bit of a mixed bag today. We'll see if we're going to be all right. I'm back on Ancient. Still, we're dodging Inferno, Nuke, and I guess that's mostly it for now. Vertigo was a little bit yesterday, but yeah, Ancient and Noob is still the most popular map so far in the European scene.
Yes, it's kind of always coming down to these two. It really seems, for the most part. They're very puggy maps. I think they're just common maps that people are more than happy to play with. The interesting thing is how the mindset for me is changing, because I remember doing a lot of best of 1 qualifiers kind of way back when, and it was always kind of coming down to the Mirage Infernos, maybe even Dust 2 a little bit, but primarily Mirage Infernos as the common ground. And now that is kind of going the other way, especially Inferno. People are not enjoying Inferno basically at all. I can understand them because I also despise that map. I still think many a change are needed, and by change I mean out of the map pool. But it's a map in which people are not seeming to like to play. You don't even see it get floated as much. I'm seeing, at least recently, even the tier 2 scene, it's getting added more often these days to permabans as well, which is kind of interesting. Teams are just saying, I don't even want to test this anymore. Retakes, they're impossible on. I mean, the B site retakes are so difficult. A site is actually just impossible. So I can kind of understand it. And the best of ones, not worth the risk. But Ancient Anubis, they are, they're the kind of the middle ground where everyone's like, yeah, I don't mind playing this. I'll float it.
Well, I mean, again, we get to see a lot of Ancient. I don't really mind. I think it's a fun map. I like playing Ancient as well. Like, it just seems like you can throw most people onto the map and they're going to have a pretty decent time of it. So we'll see how it's going to turn out once we get into it. Do you have a favorite team, or you have a team that you think is going to be a little bit ahead of the competition?
In this matchup specifically, or in this qualifier? It's in the matchup. I would lean in North Macedonia. I think for me, they on paper look like a really good side. I mean, all these guys, I think basically bar 2 high, have actually played alongside each other in full team environments. I mean, AKIT, Danny, Stressor, and Zhikos all played alongside each other at some point in their career, whether it was a smaller stint or a longer stint. Especially AKIT, Danny, and Zhikos all had quite large periods alongside each other. Stressor came in a little bit later on. 2 high is just this young IGL that they'll know. I think the North Macedonian side is the CMSA is pretty small. So they all kind of know each other. It's one of those classic ones. I think it'll be able to slot in very, very nicely. So yeah, I'm actually a fan of this North Macedonian team, especially considering Belarus haven't actually played a game yet as well. It's kind of hard to make a judgment on them. They're 2-0 with 2 forfeits, so who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to give any real context for that one. Yeah, I'm definitely curious about this. Like we said, you typically in these kind of environments, it's going to be hard for one player to sort of show up. So even if Lollipop 21K is going to be a well-known base and someone that can probably do a lot of damage, it's hard for one player to sort of carry their way through because there's going to be talent on the other side. You're not going to be running through the whole map, or at least it's unlikely. But best of one. If you feel like you're having the best day of your life, then it's still possible. So we're going to keep an eye on him and some of the other players that are a little bit more experienced over on the Belarus side once we get into it. Yeah, what else can we really cover at this point? We're just waiting for the server to get started, for everyone to get on the way. Shout out to any of you guys in the chat. I suppose if you're coming in from one of these 2 countries, let us know. Always fun to see who's tuning in, and if there are some people who are there. A lot of people asking for what games are coming up later in the day. We do have quite a few more games for the rest of it, so you're going to stick around, and we'll try and cover as many teams as we can.
I can let you know. We've got, after this one, we've got Serbia taking on Azerbaijan, which should be cool. Our Serbian roster looks really, really solid as well. 4 to 5 of them play under Partizan Esports, so they're a bit of a team. We've got Ukraine taking on Greece. Again, should be a pretty spicy one. And then to finish off the day, Israel versus Romania is a banger. That Israel team, we called them yesterday, they were on fire. Shushan was nuts with the AWP, so I'm looking forward to that. Romania is the core of Nexus, kind of the premium organization in Romania, and of course they were there last year in Yash with us, the full Nexus side that was at that point, and they were really good. There's no two ways about it. They were a very, very solid team, made it in towards the playoffs, kind of won the crowd, of course, being in home territory, and they were a fun team to commentate. Sadly, they couldn't quite make it all the way, but a decent run at the very least in towards playoffs itself. Now, we are waiting for the players going to the server, and so far, they're not. So rather than us sit here and waffle, we're going to throw this one to a break. Sit tight. Hopefully, we'll see you soon.
Not showing up, they're like, fuck it. Well, here we go. We got everybody on the server. We're ready to go. It's Belarus versus North Macedonia here for IESF. And we'll get a chance to see what's happening on Ancient. It's our first map in this series. Only map in the series, the best of one. But, yeah. We've got a chance that maybe the North Macedonian team is going to be a powerful one. They'll have to prove it, as they will start on the CT side, with Belarus going to be playing on the T side. Lollipop, 21k, going to be here, pushing his way through and actually expecting some CT aggression, and he's not wrong about that either. Good read, even better headshots coming out. He got the dink there, and it'll be MDS to take another one behind it. So a little bit of a battle brewing outside of the B-bomb side. It's too high coming in. He's going to be able to get that one at the very least.
Too high, yeah, it's definitely a guy that I have a lot of respect for. A youngster coming through. It's not easy being a young IGL as well. I'm pretty sure he's younger than me. I think he's like 22 maybe. But yeah, youngster who's come through, and honestly, a really, really talented individual. I think from those who have worked with him in the past, I only hear positive things. Hence why he was picked up by ENT's Academy recently. And, if things go well on the academy side, and at some point in the near or far future, Glaive decides to call it a day, who knows? Might get the call up. And he's somebody that I've heard a lot of positive things about. So individually, mechanically, he's good, but great mind for the game. Chance to hang out with him as well. Cool guy. Zhikots will kickstart things here. This is exactly what I expected out from North Macedonia when there was Blue Jays or earlier before that. So aggro, so puggy. They are relentlessly quick in terms of the pace in which they play these rounds. And this is something Belarus are going to have to try and fight up against. You are constantly being overwhelmed with fights, and you can see how it's working.
Yeah, which that can be easier said than done, right? It can be really, really hard to, especially because you don't have that much time to adjust. So maybe it's a conversation they had beforehand, but then again, maybe not. It's going to be a 2-0 in favor of the North Macedonian side. It'll be Belarus with not too much to fight with here. See if they could afford an upgrade or something like that. But otherwise, they're going to be fairly poor in this round. And I don't know. Yeah, those kind of aggressive styles, I like it. I think it's really fun to watch. And I think in this kind of a format, it's the kind of style that can work super well. I think if you play deep into like some of the higher tier Counter-Strike, it can be a little bit different because people start to catch on and they'll anti-strat you and they'll plan for it in a different way. But at this level, I mean, it's totally doable.
It is, absolutely. Belarus force biting towards the round prior that didn't go successfully. A little labored there, Stressen, with the spray, and it only gets him one kill. Thankfully, not the case for A-Kit, though. Spotted the last, and just beautifully to give North Macedonia their third. Beautiful, beautiful work. No two ways about it. 3-0 starts for Belarus. First true buy, and this is where we can start kind of rolling through with it. This is where we can at least get a good inkling as to maybe what Belarus can bring to the table. If they can't find a buy here, though, against what is the kind of quote-unquote bonus over towards North Macedonia, I'm going to get maybe a little bit concerned.
Yeah, that I think is pretty reasonable. Well, 8-Kid at 7-1 already. That's wild. Belarusian team, they are looking for a bit of mid-control and outside of B. So again, fairly classic setup if you wanted to attack the B-bomb side eventually. Not as secret as he wanted to be there. The grenade will do a little bit, but they're going to make their way through. Good flick. That's 8-Kid. Going to be taking down a player on the other side. And Danny just spraying them down, laying waste outside of the B-bomb side, which means they're in a lot of trouble on the T side here.
Right. Stressen is playing up on that shelf. He actually falls away at the perfect time. Dips back towards Red Room. Doesn't need to stick around for the fight. Just the right call. Mid-control kind of giving up here, but it's not really the worst thing in the world for North Macedonia. They're more than happy to kind of dip away and play further back. A-Kid's got a torp out, low HP, 17 apiece for him and Danny. A move here, which doesn't go well for Stressen as he gets caught. And now it leaves 2i as the only healthy player over on that CT side. This still could be doable for Belarus.
Yes. The clock is also working a little bit against them, though. There is a way, because you can see the bomb is basically next to T-spawn at the moment, going into the middle. So it means they're super dynamic. They can go wherever they want, but honestly, they need to make up their minds. I don't like this slowdown here. just get the bomb to the site and try and plant it and figure out what's going on next. But yeah, this kind of a slow round here is so dangerous. Holding the middle is Lollipop, and moving forward, he's going to get the kill. 10 seconds on the clock, and there's a nice shot. And now the problem is 6 seconds here. He's going to go straight for the bomb plant, but surely getting peeked right as he plants. Ooh. He does get it down. Almost impossibly so. That's wild, but he's going to go down anyway. It won't make a difference in the end, so well done. It's a close round, but it does work out for North Macedonians.
Yeah, it was close maybe for a hot second, but good from too high. I think he just realizes that the onus is on Belarus in that instance to try and fight him, to try and isolate, to get information. He knows he can just park up and hold. Early fights look so good, but they just let it slip away. Too many 1v1s gifted over, and a chance, really, for Belarus to just steal that one away at the post. Didn't happen. 4-0. So, all in all, yes, a bomb plant comes through, and with lost bonus for Belarus means a reinvest back in and all the rest, but it's still Belarus have just lost to a bonus buy there, and that is going to hurt.
Oh, yeah, it definitely will. It give a lot of extra confidence to the CT side if they didn't have it already. Similar kind of setup. They really want this control outside of B, and again, there are so many strats you can execute from there. So I don't really necessarily mind that they're trying to do that, but it's costing them in some of these rounds. Oh, stressing again. Kind of caught off guard. I don't mind the attempt to do a little bit of damage there, but he wasn't aware how close they were. And he didn't have any backup at the Jaguar Cave either, so he was kind of flying solo. Oh, yeah, that's an easy kill. Well done, though.
Well, Asphalt might get one gifted his way. Depends. He's tunnel vision in it. He's scoped in too. The orb could be in trouble. It depends if the rifle swings first. Well, both might fall, and they will. Masval, good work. 1v4 now. And yeah, no chance. This one. An on-start to Belarus back into the buy, off the back of the bomb plant and the bonus money that they had to work with, and this time they've made it stick.
Yeah, good trades. Just a little bit of patience, and it works out for them. Danny should be a pretty free kill here. Steal the AK, but apart from that, they're going to be on the hunt for him, and they kind of know they've already won the round. So 4-1 will be the scoreline, and there's some money in the bank for the North Macedonian side. A little bit less on stress than he's had a bit of a rough start individually, so down to $50, but the rest can definitely buy. If you can steal this AK, it's going to really help out the buy on that remaining player. So I would say, yeah, I would have even said just throw the smoke down and leave him alone. It's not really worth it. You could have used that rifle next one. But maybe Danny's going to be able to drop something.
Well, yeah, that's right. That is right. 4-1. This is where for Belarus, they've got to try and build upon this now. Not a bad round either. And that round kind of comes not really from Belarus doing anything particularly too kind of fantastic. It's not a great execute. They actually just wait. They just pump the brakes. And they gifted the fights. North Macedonia, I said they're, at times quite relentlessly aggressive, but it can work against them. If you actually do play a little bit more passive, you can catch this side off guard, and that is what happens. Molotov goes backside, but there's a smoke there to extinguish it. Akitorp finds a nice opener.
Yeah, much needed here. He's on fire for the start of this game. It's kind of unbelievable, right? 11-3 at the moment. They have let their eyes off the B ramp, which is my number one pet peeve on this particular map. Although they come swinging back into it. It's good. But I do think that's like the most criminal thing that CT sides do on this particular map is going away from the B ramp. If you are going to come back, at least they came back with a strong focus to take a look at it. But truth is, sometimes the T's will just kind of slip right past when you're looking elsewhere. And it can be so devastating for the rounds here. This one should be in the bag for the CT side. I don't see them fighting back. It's 2 versus 5. They're kind of split up as well. So, yeah, if you're on the North Macedonian side here, the real trick is just to not fight them too much one at a time. With the MP9, probably doesn't matter, but the rest of them, try and keep it cool. Wow, they're really going to be keeping it cool. Cleaning up, and with the AK on board, they're going to be doing fine.
Yeah, they are. It's a good lead, right? It's at that a nice buffer zone. This is a map in which, especially when it was put into the map pool originally, was it massively CT-sided. The most CT-sided map in the pool, kind of taking that crown away from the overpass and the nukes. But since they moved those T-side spawns, it's become pretty even. It's become a really, really solid map for T-sides to kind of work with. And it's just something that right now, Belarus can't find a way to get going. They may be 2-0 up, but with both of them being forfeit wins, we weren't really too sure actually what we were going to get out of them. And while name value is okay for this side, I mean, not as much as North Macedonia, but they've got a couple of decent players. They still really haven't been able to get going in this one. Not a buy here. That is really all too much to consider, you'd assume. Anyway, double take 9, double deagle, Mac 10. Interesting, though. Yes, they got loss bonus, but relatively bigger investment. You know, down to 1K on a few of them.
Yeah. Bit risky, perhaps. Some nades in the middle. Lollipop trying to make his way through. Close with the Tech 9. He wanted to beat it, even though the Molotov was up. He's like, if I can get one more second, I can hunt somebody down. I think it's a solid idea. I don't necessarily mind it, but they don't really get what they wanted. I think it was mass foul. All right. Might have been the hut confusing me there. Stressen's going to get the kill on the other side, and it will be a 4 versus 5 to begin with. Yeah. See if they could do anything in this round. Do a little bit of damage, take some of the money away. North Macedonian side don't have a ton of cash. Oh, wow. Well, that will get the job done. MDS, 2 quick kills with a Tech 9.
Because spots one in towards backside. He's not going to clear the angle. That's not going to help at all.
Oh, no. What's happened here? I can't believe it. Just...
I mean, you've got to save it. You have to get out of here, AK.
Yeah.
You cannot stick around. There's no point.
Just the Tech 9s doing so much damage. That's probably a little bit careless for the Macedonian side. They didn't really need to be losing this one. 8 kit back into, they're actually bumping into each other. Oh, and they come out at the same side. That would have been kind of sick if he could have made his way through. I don't know if he had a kit or not, but just imagine if he could have snuck in there for the defuse. That would have been good fun. But yeah, I think they need to refocus a little bit here on the CT side. That probably was not a round they needed to lose.
It's not a great one. It's not a great one. They just don't clear anything. Every single fight that kind of went their way, it's just them not looking to the left or the right. I mean, literally those last 3 are all exact.
That means we're back. I'm gonna go ahead and say we're
are
back. Let's pretend
we're
we're back.
officially back. I feel like we're in the Hangover.
Right.
You know that scene. We're back. We are so back.
So I reckon probably we had a PC crash, and that kind of took out the voice on our side. So the game went on, so we still got to see what was going on there. But obviously, a little bit of a hiccup. But we're back in action. Don't want to delay too much. A 6-3 scoreline here. So Belarus, I must say, started to get a little bit back into the game. It's good to see. North Macedonia before then were kind of running away with it, but we've got a more open game in our hands. Still 8-Kit kind of leading the charge with a 14-5 scoreline. That's really impressive. Doing great work with the AWP, but I don't know. This is an open game once again.
It is. It really is. Danny. Oh, gets caught. That's quick. Not a second for Lollipop. Gets traded, but an instantly traded back. Shazam falls. Going to pop on towards the site. Yeah, we were watching whilst our comms weren't coming through, and it was another good round coming through from North Macedonia. But Belarus keeping this close. That's the main thing. They're starting to find real weaknesses, it seems, over towards A.
Yeah, managing to exploit that nicely at the start here. There's no complaints about that. Just no chance for a retake. Doesn't even really look like they are considering it. At most, we're talking about a couple of exit kills here. It's going to be possible. 8-Kit certainly get one of them, and there's not much else to be said. Obviously, bomb radius on this map is huge, so the T's have to try and exit somehow. Chikos is going to be taking down one more kill, but ultimately it will be the round for the Belarusian side. So 6-4, and wow, it's getting to be quite a different game here.
Yeah, we could actually get a little bit of a competitive push at the tail end now, where if Belarus can, even if they get towards just 5, I think that's fine, but get towards a tied game, a 6-all, and who knows, maybe more of a conversation that needs to be had about this tail end. The good thing is, with the saves that come through from North Macedonia, the rebuy comes back in, kind of no questions asked. And there is a little bit of a hit over towards Belarus, with Senka only picking up a Mac 10 as he prioritizes util rather than firepower here. Might not be the worst thing in the world, but we shall see. Up close, Chikos just gets completely caught off guard there.
Yeah, blown up in fact. Probably not what he was expecting. Nice little boost on over. I don't know if they can keep it long enough. That might not even be needed. 8-Kit shows up and just knocks down a player in the middle, and he's ready to rotate back into CT spawn here. Gets another one. He's lights out for this game. 18 kills. Where is it coming from? MDS and Masval, the only two that are left here. And just the one. 8-Kit finding a 3rd kill. My God, he's having himself the game of his life here. This is sick.
He is. Masval, what do you got for us? Consolations are nice. Is it going to make a difference? I don't think so, but it will not really even matter. 2 high seas it off, and only the 1 casualty, especially considering it didn't start well with Chikos falling. What a good response coming through. But yeah, 8-Kit, and this is a guy who, at least when this side were really starting to make a name for themselves, when the Alias and the Blue Jays of the world were becoming the top end of tier 2, he was a primary reason as to why. It was actually, him and Casanito. Of course, Casanito now gone kind of international, but they were both super, super talented. And still are, in all fairness.
Okay, a bit of a lead. Potential for an 8-4 half here for North Macedonia. I think it'll be a good little recovery. They had such a good start. They probably want to finish strong as well, but somebody has something to say about that. Deagle kill picked up from SedenX, so a little bit interesting. Trying to get control towards the B bomb site right at the tail end here. And they could do it. It's a 3-man setup, though, onto the B bomb site. You want to be really careful, but it can be done.
Yeah, not impossible. Not going to count it out. Not just yet. He could just take a pop shot, but then Senka will fall. Spam's pretty close. They actually have to pause their push for a second because of the spam. And they go back in towards cave.
They've really slowed this down on all sides. Nobody from the CTs wants to go peek, and 3 people are going to be shooting out. Oh, they lose. Lollipop 2K on the other side, and now I think that they needed that arm of the attack. Smoke goes up, and it goes a little bit too deep. And Too High will get the opportunity to try and push in front. He did go down, gets traded right away, but he slowed them down, and that kind of confirms that everyone is there. So there are no more surprises here for the North Macedonian side. They know what's going to be coming up next. Nice shot. I said no more surprises, but that is a bit of a surprise. The Tech9 able to get the kill. 20 seconds now. Oh, and can he get it to the next? I think he must have seen that. Now he definitely does, but it's too late. Stressen able to take him down. And MDS last alive with just 10 seconds on the clock here. Don't think there's much you could do. He's getting to live with the first one. I don't think he can plant the bomb. It's just not possible here. Goes down, and it will be 8 on the CT side.
8-4 is honestly not bad. I think that's it's workable for Belarus. It's not great, but considering how slow they started, they didn't really look all that competitive in the first few rounds. I think it's a little bit of a recovery, at least where they were competitive at the tail end. It's still, for me, not feeling like enough right now. I mean, Senka's struggling to really get active. In all fairness, 1-12's a tough first half. ZNX, similar for him, where he's not found that much form until we saw a kind of a couple of kills at the tail end, 5 and 10. So I think for Belarus, they've got a few individuals who are talented themselves and have at least put a little bit of a conversation early in this game, but it's not been across the board and it's not been consistent either. So that 8-4 is just showing the firepower difference, I think, for me, between these two sides. North Macedonia, they're a really solid team. They're a team that I could probably expect to make it to the World Esports Championships as well. I mean, the previous champions, when it was that Blue Jays roster, that was way 2 years ago now, but yeah, 2022 that was. They were the champions in that one, and they took on some pretty good sides. I mean, the Mongols there, for example. iNation, I'm pretty sure, were there as well. So some fairly decent teams did make a showing, and yeah. I mean, this is the thing that we're starting to see. It's just a really good region for Counter-Strike, especially in kind of this like upper tier 2 level.
Yeah, they put together a really good first half. In contention to keep that going here, now as we're on the pistol on the second half of the board. And yeah, pistol round win here. They've got a lot of utility, so they can really actually do this. I think Senka might be in a little bit of trouble. He could choose to play in front of the smokes that are going to be going down, but if he does and he dies, he leaves his team in a really awkward position. So now he's fallen real far back, and I guess we'll see if that's going to be working out for him or not. A minute on the clock here. The grenades are coming in now. It's going to be a smoke on the one side, Molotov on the other. So yeah, he can't see anything there. He could try and push onto the molly and try and shoot through there, but again, you've got to value the sort of potential risk of leaving your team in a 4-on-5 retake. If you think you get the USP shot, then sure, maybe go for it. And now the T's are actually pushing forward, and they're doing great work. Flashbang to push the back line, and actually a smoke setup here to push the CTs even further back. That's devastating.
It is. This is feeling impossible already. There is actually a strong conversation to have of just call for the full save, as wild as it sounds. But, you know, you got 3 bits of armor, all of which haven't been tested. I think this is the right decision for me. You're not getting back in. You don't have the util for it. You don't have the chance to make it work. I mean, no kit even either.
Yeah, I agree.
So what's the point? I mean, you're just giving away fights for no reason.
Leave it
go for safe.
Unfortunate way to lose a pistol, obviously. That it feels kind of bad. We're like, oh, come on. We didn't even get a chance to really fight for it. And that's 9 on the North Macedonian side. So just 20-5 on 8 kid. How has he done that? How has he got away with so much?
It's been, well, feels like a pretty easy game for him individually. Oh, he's playing as well. I don't see that stopping anytime soon. 9-4. North Macedonia, they already get into a pretty close point, and you know, a big call from Belarus going for the force buy. Obviously, yes, they went for the save, but generally speaking, you lose this. It's not only a 10th, but probably an 11th too for North Macedonia, and that could spell the beginning of the end. But MDS going to get the first.
Yeah, all the players he could have taken down to his 8 kid as well. That probably feels pretty good. Shikov's trying to make his way through, but the submachine guns are just too much to handle on the other side. So, wow, this round falls very, very flat for the T side so far. Having even a bomb plant right now would be, I don't know, a bit of a stretch. Let's see if they can find a way to do that at all. Stressen getting a bit of space to work with here. Oh, they actually go back to repeat. That's so dangerous. He's going to get both those kills. Now, we will get traded. Nice USP shots coming out. But if he had stayed alive, then that that round could have been back on. That's how you suddenly give it up. So kind of a good job to control that run as Belarus looking to get up to 5.
That's true. Now, too high. We need to really claw them out from something. And he had a chance there if he gets the kill, but he doesn't. Force buy does work. Okay, credit. Maybe, just maybe we're onto something here. That force buy, I think, actually will kickstart the CT side as well.
Yes.
North Macedonia, they don't, I mean, especially because they didn't get a bomb plant either, just don't have any raw funds to work with. They actually, I think, are probably, at least in a couple of situations, on double eco themselves, especially like Danny and Shikos. So they have to force back in. They don't get a choice just because of how the econ situation works. So they buy back in. Tech 9 Double Eagle, Mac 10, and a Galil. It's not the worst buy in the world, but I actually, in these situations, I prefer sides to go into kind of all Tech 9s and kind of one rifle, or a Mac 10, a Galil, and then Tech 9s across the board rather than the Deagles, just because you can go for a real quick pop play and just try to overwhelm a site.
Yeah, it does create this weird dynamic in the team where it's like half the players kind of want to play like on the first opening, you just go for it, and the other half kind of want to slow it down and take some tempered duels against somebody. It's like, it is a bit of a weird mix. Oh, well, this is the power of the Deagle, though. It's too high, taking a kill right off the bat, sneaking on forward. They're going to be able to recover the MP9. Maybe not the most exciting thing to steal away, but yeah, it's better than nothing. And a 4-on-5. They get smoked out, so speaking of which, there's not that many grenades left at all on the CT sides. That could be a bit of a problem coming up right away.
Lollipop.
9-5.
He's got the right idea. Keeps checking left-hand side, thankfully. Oh, he does line them up. Lollipop. That's beautiful. Shikos. Yes, he gets his trade, but I don't think it's going to be enough in this one. That's a nice round coming through from one man individually, and probably arguably the biggest man on the server for Belarus. Being a little quiet, I think, by his standards, but that's a good way to try and find that form once again for him.
Oh, yeah. It's not too late to recover it. I mean, it's an open game. Anything can still happen here. Chikos is going to be getting one kill in the donut. Fakes the bomb. Got to be careful because there is a player right next. Oh, I think that fake might have actually backfired on him. It's unfortunate, but it's out of his control. You can't really dictate the timings like that. Would have been fun to see him try to go for the entire best, or it's a 1 versus 3 there, but not quite the case. So, 9-6 instead. Belarus, okay. I mean, they're starting to get warmed up. They still have a couple of players that haven't done too much. We talked about Lollipop getting back into it, but also Senka with just 2 kills, right? That there's a lot that could be recovered there for him as well.
It's true. 3 round the difference. This is game on a bit. Again, not the hugest buy to really work. It's only stressing on that Galil. There's any sort of investment or any sort of upgrade in this sort of situation. At a 9-6 half. He needs to do a little bit of individual prowess, and that's not a bad way to go about it. Nade is chunky as it hits both AK and Stress on, but an opening kill is good, and that might even be a recoverable rifle as well. They don't want to risk too much crossing cave entrance, but if they do, they should be able to get themselves a rifle. ZenX are going to make a move for that exact reason.
Yeah, they don't give them the chance here. And Sval, pretty good stuff. Just limited exposure, not a big chance that he was going to lose anything in that round. Belarus going to be up to 7 rounds here. This is starting to look, I think, a lot more interesting.
It is. It really is. Masval sees off Shikos with ease. Only the one casualty with Stress-On's Galil. And apart from that, pretty simple. 2 rounds of difference. It felt like, basically the last time we saw a buy, it really did feel like we were going to say, yeah, this was more or less done. It's going to be seen off quite comfortably, and North Macedonia are going to take a clean map here. But now in this last few, and towards the tail end of this map, we are starting to see them really work for this, where there's a competition at our hands. I still don't think, while there's a 2-round buffer for North Macedonia, you lose this one here, the game's tied up, Belarus, they can still steal us away, no 2 ways about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe there's the other side of having somebody like AidKit who's playing as well as he is, but a couple of rounds where he goes down or he maybe just misses a shot or 2, and you could be in a bit of a different world all of a sudden. So I've got to say, Don't know if I'm panicking yet on the North Macedonian side, but certainly starting to get a bit worried about this. Just a 2-round gap between the two teams. Bomb is making its way over outside of the B bomb site. We've got ZNX towards the donut, and we've got MDS outside of the A bomb site. So when you're this far forward, if you're MDS, you should think they should be able to keep the 3-man stack at the B bomb side. They should be able to call it in and say, listen, I've heard or seen nobody on this side. So they are rotating a player towards the middle. I feel like they don't really need to do this, although they will get the opening kill with the AWP. So yeah, this is looking pretty decent for this round. They're going to be ready at the B bomb side. I don't think North Macedonia are going to make their way through here.
This is tough. Masval holding at least in that corner to try and see if they swing out. It's not been given up to them just yet. I think North Macedonia were tempted to fight behind that smoke, but it's such an inherent risk. Now, as it fades, they've got a bit of leeway to work with. Zhikosh creep walking his way forward, especially with that smoke down. He might get a timing, especially on towards 2. There's the first. He expect the second. Swinging through the smoke. Lollipop's going to get 3 in total. Might even get a 4th as well. Lost is A-Kit. He is low. Lollipop, a great round out from him. 4 kills to his name.
Yeah, super well done. They close up the gap. They're 1 round away from tying up the game here. They've got a fair bit of cash on their side. They're not super rich, but you can see there's a little bit of a bank on MDS. But even more importantly, North Macedonia don't have the money to buy, so they can't really keep up the pressure. You know, again, they could try for some deagles or something like that just to you know, try and do some chip damage to the economy. But this is a round that's going to be almost impossible to win. So, wow. You know, just from a blazing hot start with 8-Kit dropping multi-kills left and right into this way more questionable North Macedonia. Where have they gone?
This is looking very positive that we could be talking about Belarus taking this map. Okay. 9-8. With a 1-round game and a big decision about a buy, right? We're now looking at this and saying, not quite make or break, but pretty close for North Macedonia. You don't convert this, not only are you gifting up the lead, it becomes an even game, your economy gets broken if you don't get a bomb plant, and then we're looking at Belarus probably being able to take a lead 10-9 and really put that pressure on. Getting the first side to hit double digits can be a massive bolster to the confidence and the momentum and all the rest. So had a bit of a pause and a bit of a time to have a conversation. And now it's of the North Macedonia have to see over the line. And for me, I'm looking at too high. The IGL, the caller, the guy with maybe not as much experience as the others, but the real mind for the game. He's got to try and find these gaps in the Belarus armor. And basically, they've got to stop feeding Lollipop because he's come alive in the second half.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that is who you're going to be looking for, right? If that's the kind of the downside of being the in-game leader, is people are going to be looking at you saying, what is the next move? How can we get out of this one? 1 minute and 40 seconds. They are quick, in other words, outside of the B-bomb site. ZNX setting up. He's ready in case. Not quite going to be hitting that shot. There's a little slightly wider peak than he was expecting, and there's no slowing this down. I love these. Fast to the B-bomb site. It usually is very effective, although Senka has been having such a rough game. This is a great time for him to pick up a double kill. Nicely done on him. I'm going to credit him with most of this round because, again, he had 3 kills before this round. Now he's up to 5, but it's so important to stick around mentally in a game all the way to the end because sometimes you can just have 1 or 2 rounds where you make the difference, and this was his. So, yeah. Well done.
That's true. Another great hold coming through, and they kind of especially needed it as well. Masol falls early. It's another great round out from Lollipop too. He's at least in these last few, he's always good for at the bare minimum a couple. Where on the other side for 8-Kit, still not a great game, but he's quieted down in these last few. And that is giving opportunities 9-9. Little bit of A-buy to work with. That is a massive call. What a flash from 8-Kit as Too High and Danny get a kill apiece.
Finally, some signs of life here as the game is tied up, but North Macedonia look to win this one. It's very scary. Could have easily been a double kill there coming in from Senka. Instead, it's a 2 versus 4. Masval in a potentially interesting position here. If he can sneak around, especially because the bomb is actually coming back. Oh, if he was a bit more patient, I think this is his round, but he was going to get traded no matter what then. So, ZNX alone, I think any chance for recovering the round is probably done. So, first sign of life, I think, in the second half here out of the North Macedonian side. And kind of about time. We've been waiting for it.
It's true. It is true. I mean, it's a weird one to take. It's like, another decision to force, but this one was even worse than the prior. But, you had one rifle and a few upgraded pistols, but it's a beauty of a pot flash from Zhikosh. Danny gets that first alongside Too High. It's such a nice little mid play, and then they just quite simply group together, play off each other, wait for the fights to be gifted to them, and they are. I think it's been maybe a long time coming, but all that matters is North Macedonia take it. First side to hit double digits. That's the important thing. Question being now is, for me, I always say this, just make sure it's not a flash in the pan. Make sure that there's some consistency behind this and there's an idea about how to replicate it, because that is not a good start. AK going to get caught early.
Yeah, you need to keep it going. I think you're absolutely right. Looting aid kit. Not been easy for him to recover these kind of rounds. Zen kept playing in front. They will check this because they've Molotov the other side. So, yeah, he's trying to rotate out as soon as he can. He wants to kind of leave that corner so that he's not too exposed. And he's going to make his escape, which is fine. In the meantime, they are going to get the kill on Shikos as well. Smoke going up towards the B side, but I don't know. Again, they're struggling to really even get into the round here.
Okay. Pop. Oh, and the spam of the box. It's going to get the first and a swing for the second as well. Lollipop is looking electric in towards the second half. No two ways about it. Brilliant from him. Daddy, 2 points of HP. Safe to say this was not happening. However, 30 seconds to try and kill here to keep this AWP alive, and he's actually walking into danger. The pistol was in play, but Danny, a quick shot from him will get his kill.
Trying to hold on as much as you can. There is a chance, I think, that Senke can get here. If he kind of runs for it, he might be able to, but time is running out in the round, and either way, it will be Belarus tying the game up once again. So 10-10. They don't have a lot of money on the CT side. Maybe a little bit more on the North Macedonian side to play around with. So I don't know. It's impossible to tell who's going to be coming out on top. We're nearing the end of the map regardless. So yeah, it's a real open question at the moment. Who's going to be walking away with it? We were talking about Lollipop earlier, kind of coming back into it. He's up to 20 kills now. So he definitely is having another great game here. This is, I don't know, their chance to just make this a quick and easy one is definitely, it's been and gone.
I'm glad we're getting a competitive one as well. We have a couple of close ones, and it's tough to kind of really build up a narrative about both of these two countries. But now, if this is us probably expecting both of these guys to make it to playoff, I think that's more or less guaranteed. They've got a forfeit actually in their group. I think Bosnia and Herzegovina haven't actually played most of their games. So, and they're in a group where it's a small group. Top 3 out of 4 make it out. So both of these should make it. And it'd be cool to see what they can do in playoffs. If this is the level they're putting up against each other here and now, numbers advantage. North Macedonia. Jakosh is low. Too high is dead.
Instantly taken down. Easy enough there. Shikos is already tagged up quite a bit. Bombs being planted here. 8-kit. Can he do anything with the AWP? He's already being put under some pressure and dropped quite low. This is already good work. They don't have any more grenades to get rid of him. That's the only thing that sucks. But other than that, we'll see if they can find another couple of bullets against him. He's really fast on that one. Taking down Masval. Now he's ready to peek again. He lines up and takes down MDS, and they're going to be able to take the round. And again, it's aid kit that's really making the difference for them here.
Yeah, big time. Needed a hero. Like I said, he's been a little bit quiet on towards this T side in the second half, but it wasn't that round. A nice double that comes through that bails them out of what looked like a pretty dire time. I mean, we were talking to Mazol get those 2 kills in quick succession, and it felt like it might have been done and dusted there and then. And a nice little see off by Danny tail end. 11-10. Only the one round in it, but the most damning thing about losing that for Belarus is what it's done to the recon. No buy here, really to work with. Interesting that Senka's buying half armor with the ESP. I don't know really why.
Yeah.
Unless they're opting for a force. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, if you are buying half armor, there's got to be some intent behind it. And the intent is a force buy. This is all chips to the middle of the felt. This is the all-in call on the poker table. You lose this, you are losing the match.
Quite risky, I've got to say. Especially because they did such a good job of coming back into it. But if they don't win this one, then, yeah, they're kind of giving the game over to the North Macedonian side. So, potentially quite risky. Got the 2 MP9s, the FAMAS, the M4A1, and the 5.7 on Senka. Mid control, not anywhere near to be seen here for Belarus. They just don't have the utility to that you normally need to fight for this. So, no surprise. North Macedonia going to be able to pick this one up, and they will grenade everything they can in the middle. They just don't want to be shot in the back at any point here. So, making their way towards the donuts with the bomb. These two people outside of B surely going to be playing a role in this strategy at some point, making a bit of noise, potentially trying to draw somebody over. I feel like they could freeze here towards donut and let the other two players work a little bit, because right now they're not part of the strategy at all.
It's true. It is true. 50 seconds. North Macedonia call for this pause, and again, now what's the play?
I think they're just seeing if the CTs are going to move. I mean, it's fair play. They kind of show themselves in middle, so it is surprising that Belarus are not moving at all in this round. Almost the lineup. My God, that could have been devastating. That's nearly a double kill, but where do they go from here? 27 seconds. You got to make a call now. It doesn't really matter if it's A or B. Just you have to make a decisive decision, and it's going to be Stressan going down. 4 versus 4 all of a sudden. They are on the B bomb site, so it looks like they're going to be able to get the bomb planted here. Senka showing up and gets taken down just as quick. Side swipe by the AK's Lollipop, and all right, they got the job done, but there looked like there was a lot of hesitation in the middle of that round.
Yeah, I think you're right. This one, a non-starter in the retake. AK's got to stay alive, but however, this is risky because you can lose your head like that in a rapid fashion. They absolutely needed that AK. They had to have that AK in towards the next round. The fact that they don't, that might spell the beginning of the end. That might spell what we could say is this being potentially done and dusted. 12.
Yeah.
Match point for North Macedonia. It's been a close game. It's been a great game. But I think this one is probably done here. Belarus, they upgrade to a FAMAS. As a small little stuff like, just keep your head tucked. Don't even need to fight here. Oh my God, he'll get it. If Zhikosh was looking his way, though, that could have been risky. But yeah, all in all, 11 now turned 12. And while it's been a close one, I think that strong first half has just been the foundations enough for North Macedonia, even in their ruts and their slow periods, to still make this competitive.
Scary scenario here. I don't know, like this was that buy from Belarus is potentially going to be one that they're going to be rethinking in the future, unless they can turn it around here. I guess if they force up this one, and they obviously have, then maybe they can still get this one into overtime. But all of the advantage is with North Macedonia in this one. Some damage coming on through as well. That's not bad at all. And again, they seem to be quite happy with just kind of waiting it out. I'm guessing eventually when they go for it, 8-Kit's got a flashbang already in his hand, so he's going to pop that over the wall, and the rest are going to try and push out and try and see if they can take some control out here. There's so many people in middle for Belarus, my God.
Okay. This might be an awkward fight in elbow. Will they expect them up close? Will they expect Lollipop? Will they clear him? They will. Can't transfer, I think, is probably the big one. The Deagle trying to line up shots. Danny going to get a double. Oh, Anders, I think we might be saying goodbye. Cubbies are cleared. They have not cleared mass foul. They turn around, thankfully. Thank God.
Yeah, it would have been a nice little trick if you could have stayed in there, but it's not going to be possible. And it will be North Macedonia. I would say a real struggle here at the end. It started well, and it kind of ended well. But there was a point in the middle where it just wasn't quite good enough. But still, congratulations to them. It's a nice victory that they pick up here in the middle of the day. Not bad at all.
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, honestly, it was at one point, I think, considerably harder fought than they would hope. I mean, they're looking at this, and it was such a smooth sailing of a first half where I really didn't think anything would change on the T side, especially with how well A-Kit was playing. But in all fairness, T-Side Orping's a bit of a different beast. So I can understand maybe where he individually tailed off a little bit, and then how things started to maybe peter out a bit for North Macedonia, because the kill disparity drops off quite severely off the back of him as we headed in towards that second half. But thankfully, they're able to recover. It's a very strong side. And I think the one of the other things that I was going to talk about as well is that with how their group currently is laid out, because because Bosnia and Herzegovina forfeited their first 2 matches, they're 0-2. They're basically more or less guaranteed of not making out, and they're in a group of 4. The top 3 make it out. So both of these sides, no bother, should make it towards the playoffs. It's not really anything to worry about is the main thing I'm looking at. Either way, though, good win to come through. That's now putting North Macedonia at 2-1. We're going to first on to a break. Back on more Counter-Strike just a second.